In a small village where summer smelled of raspberries and freshly cut grass, two children, brother Johnny and sister Anna, loved to play by the river. That morning the sun shone softly, the water babbled over the stones, and the air was full of lark songs. Suddenly Anna heard a faint mewing. She stopped, listened, and again, meow. "Did you hear that?" she whispered to her brother. Johnny frowned and peered into the reeds near the water. Among the green stalks something moved, and a tiny face peeked out. Its eyes were huge and round, a little scared, and its gray fur was wet and messy. "A kitten," cried Anna, bending down and gently reaching out her hands. The little one trembled but didn't fight. Anna lifted it up, and it immediately cuddled into her, purring softly. "Poor thing," she whispered. "Who left you here?" Johnny scratched his head. "That's strange. There are no houses or barns nearby. How did it end up by the river?" The children looked at each other, determination sparking in their eyes. "You know what?" said Anna. "We have to find it a home." And so began their summer adventure, a search for a family for the tiny, helpless creature. The children carried the kitten carefully, wrapped in Anna's scarf. It meowed from time to time as if calling someone, then quieted and purred again when Anna stroked it. First, they went to Aunt Mary, who was watering her tomatoes. "Aunt Mary, have you seen this kitten before?" Johnny asked. The woman bent down, looked closely, and shook her head. "No, kids. I already have 3 cats of my own. I'd know if it was mine." Then they walked to Grandpa Mike, who sat on a bench by his house. He squinted at the kitten and said, "Maybe it came from the abandoned farm. People lived there once, but it's been empty for years. Sometimes animals wander from there." Anna hugged the kitten tighter. "But it's so little." It couldn't have come all that way alone after that. The children asked a few more neighbors. Some said they'd seen a similar kitten near the shed. Others thought it might have strayed from a stranger's yard, but no one gave a clear answer, and every guess only made things more confusing. "If no one knows whose it is, we'll have to keep looking ourselves," Johnny said thoughtfully. "We promised to find it a home." Anna looked at the tiny kitten, and it seemed to look back at her. Its eyes were full of hope. Anna and Johnny went back to the river because they decided that if they had found the kitten there, then maybe some clues had been left behind. The sun was already high and the water sparkled with bright reflections. The children carefully studied the shore, and sure enough, on the damp ground near the reeds there were several prints. "Look," Johnny bent down. "These aren't a child's footprints or a cow's. Small steps, and next to them," he pointed at some wider marks, "that's a dog." Anna clutched the kitten nervously. "Could a dog have attacked it?" Johnny shook his head. "I don't know. But look, the tracks lead from the old path that goes to the abandoned farm Grandpa Mike told us about." The children paused. The farm was far away, and everyone in the village thought it was a little spooky. People said a lonely woman had once lived there and kept many cats, but now the houses were empty. Anna looked at the kitten and whispered, "What if it came from there? What if other animals are still there?" Johnny sighed. "Then we have to check. If there are more kittens, they might be in real trouble without someone to care for them." Deciding not to wait, they agreed to follow the path to the farm the next day. The next morning, Anna and Johnny set off along the path leading to the old farm. The sun was just rising, the grass was covered in dew, and the birds sang so loudly it felt like they were cheering the children on. They had left the kitten at home with Grandma because they didn't want to take it into the unknown. Anna still worried, but Johnny reassured her, "This way is better. We'll find answers faster and come back." The farm greeted them with silence. A few houses stood crooked, fences had fallen, and wells were overgrown with weeds. The wind whistled through windows without glass, making the place feel a little spooky. "Doesn't it feel sad here?" Anna whispered. "It does," Johnny nodded, "but keep looking." We came here for a reason, and sure enough, on the porch of one house they noticed scattered fish bones and small scratch marks on the wood. "Cats were definitely here," Anna exclaimed. Further in the yard they found several bowls half hidden in grass, as if someone had once fed animals here but hadn't for a long time. Then Anna heard a faint meow. She turned and saw two tiny faces peeking from the dark shed. "Johnny," she whispered excitedly, "there are more kittens." Out of the dark shed stepped two more kittens. They looked a bit older than the one Anna and Johnny had found by the river. One was black with a white paw, and the other was ginger with a fluffy tail. They watched the children carefully, but didn't run away. Anna slowly pulled out a piece of bread and a bit of cheese she had packed from home. "Look, they're hungry," she said, holding out the food. At first, the kittens hesitated, but then they slowly came forward and began nibbling. Anna looked at them with tenderness. "Poor little things. They're all alone out here." Johnny glanced around. "But if there are 3 of them, how have they survived? Someone must be feeding them. Otherwise, they'd be too weak." Anna looked at him in surprise. "You think someone's coming here?" "Maybe," Johnny replied. "Or maybe they've learned to find scraps in the village." Meanwhile, the kittens had grown braver, licking the bowls and brushing against Anna's legs. She couldn't resist and gently picked up the ginger one. It purred so loudly that even Johnny smiled. "So what do we do now?" Anna asked. "We can't leave them here?" Johnny frowned. "But we can't take them all home at once either. We need to think this through." While Anna played with the kittens, Johnny heard footsteps behind him. He turned and saw an elderly woman with a basket in her hands. She walked slowly but steadily, and in her basket were pieces of bread and fish bones. "Oh, children, you found my little ones," she said with a warm smile. Anna blinked in surprise. "Yours?" The woman nodded. "Yes. I come here from time to time. People used to live here, but they left. The cats stayed, and I couldn't just abandon them. I try to bring them food, though it's not easy." Johnny looked uncertain. "But they don't have a real home." "That's the hard part," the woman sighed. "I do what I can, but they need a real home, warmth, and love." Anna hugged the ginger kitten tighter. "We can help, can't we, Johnny?" He looked at her and knew there was no point in arguing. He felt it too. It would be hard to walk away from these furry little lives. The old woman gave them a kind look. "If you really want to help, tell the neighbors. Maybe someone would take 1 or 2 of them in. Every life is precious." Anna and Johnny returned to the village with the kittens in their arms. At first, the neighbors chuckled. "Oh, what little detectives you are," they teased. "There are always stray cats around." But when the kids explained about the old farm and showed the kittens, the mood changed. Even grumpy Aunt Helen came over quietly and said, "I have chickens in my yard and a mouse problem. Maybe I'll take the black one." Grandpa Mike, smiling beneath his mustache, added, "And I could use some company on my bench. That ginger one looks cheerful. I'll take him." Anna beamed. "See, Johnny? They're going to find their homes. Only the little gray kitten, the very first one they had found, remained in Anna's arms. It purred softly, as if it already knew its fate. "This one," Anna said firmly, "we'll keep." Johnny smiled and nodded. The kitten had become more than just a rescue. It was a symbol of their kindness and their little victory. "Grandma," watching it all, smiled gently and said, "You're good kids. Remember, every good deed comes back to you one day." From then on, the little gray kitten became part of their family, and Anna and Johnny learned that sometimes the biggest adventures begin with something small, like one quiet meow that reaches straight into your heart. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed the story, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.